What is up, guys? Demons like #1 here, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another edition of Who Would Win. And today, ladies and gentlemen, is a returning favorite partner in the show. That's right, I'm bringing back another special guest. Is probably one of your favorites, Mr. Dominic Anderson. How are?
I'm doing fine today.
Good, very good indeed. Now, tell me, Mr. Dominic Anderson, do you have any idea what we're doing today?
Today we are going to be doing Link versus Guts, even though my version is going to be the Twilight Princess Link.
Oh, really? And when did we discuss this? Oh wait, never. So this is a surprise for me, ladies and gentlemen. Could you tell me why you picked Twilight Princess Link by starting off with his origins, please?
Well, let's just start off with the regular origins. Like, we all know how the Link where he goes through dungeons, he defeats bosses, gets rupees, gets items, and defeats the evil Ganondorf and saves Princess Zelda. But for Twilight Princess Link origins, I'm gonna try to keep this one short. But okay, so Link was raised on a farm. One day, the mayor told Link, and he said, "Okay, Link, I want you to meet Princess Zelda." And Ilya, they go to the pond to get Epona ready because Epona had a cut of some kind. And so Ilya said to go home safely, but then all of a sudden, these enemies, these hog things showed up and they shot Ilya. Link was scared, but they shot Link as well. They took Ilya away, and Link wakes up. He chases after them. He gets sucked into the Twilight Realm, and then he turns into a werewolf. And that's the shortest I can get it to.
Is that all?
Well, unless you want to count the fact that werewolf Link goes inside a cage. He gets forced inside the cage, and Midna appears, and then Midna's like, "Oh, but you aren't a human anymore." And so throughout the game, Midna helps you throughout the journey. And again, I don't want to be very long, so I'm trying to keep it as short as possible.
Righty dokie then. Well, I best talk about Guts. Now, pre-warning, Guts' story is not for the faint of heart. Guts' story is pretty long, but I'm going to try and make it as short as I can. He was born from the corpse of his dead mother, who was hanged during a massacre. Gus was then taken in by a group of soldiers, but one day Gus accidentally killed the abusive leader of the group known as Bandino. And then after that he became a lone mercenary, and then joined a group of other mercenaries who fought for anyone who paid them. But then one day the leader of the group, known as Griffith, led the team literally into hell, and he killed everyone except Gus and a girl. He then showed up, and he was apparently a demon. And then he raped the girl in front of Guts, and Guts just happened to really like her. The demon then cut out Gus's eye, and then he pinned his arm under a giant stone pillar, forcing Gus to cut off his own arm, and he barely escaped from hell. After getting a new metal arm and a bigger sword, he went around the world killing demons and killers and anyone who just pissed him off. And the human and demon world would know the name Guts, the Black Swordsman. Whew, boy.
Interesting story.
And I thought Sonic had a rough childhood. That was just ridiculous. Now then,
I know, right?
Now then, Mr. Anderson, we get into the categories of today. The categories we have are strength, speed, techniques, weapons, and armor, as these are both swordsmen. And everyone knows if a swordsman doesn't have at least one pair of armor, well, you're either really confident or really stupid. So, could you tell us either Link's strength or the great thing he's done with strength?
Well, in one of the mini bosses, Link picks up a giant Goron that's twice his size, and then he throws a giant Goron in the lava. Though he can only do this with the iron boots on. And also, in the boss against Pyrus, he grabs a chain and yanks it. This causes him to fall, allowing Link to hit him. Again, he can only do this with the iron boots on. When Link gets the iron ball, he can throw it to destroy ice chunks. And when Link opens the doors, he grabs it from underneath and pulls it upward, allowing him to progress through the next room of the dungeon.
Do you have any clue?
I know that's not a lot, but...
Do you have any clue how heavy that ball might be?
Well, considering that the iron ball, well, obviously is made out of iron, obviously, I'm assuming that the iron ball is probably weighing, like, say, 30 or 50 pounds or more.
That's pretty light considering the size I've seen it. Is almost half the size of Link when he puts it down.
Not unless, I mean, like I said, I'm just assuming, but the best guess I can do is to probably say 100, 200, or even 300 pounds or so.
That would seem more likely, because if it was 15 pounds, then it'd be a hollow ball, and hollow balls don't do that much damage on things. But if it was a solid ball made of if it was one solid iron ball, then it would weigh a lot. And I've had and I dropped a dumbbell on my foot once. Imagine a giant iron ball being thrown right at you. That would hurt a lot.
As far as I'm concerned, if it hits you on the head, yeah, you probably get brain damage.
Or have no head.
Yeah, who knows?
Well then. And here I thought Mario was stronger than Link. I guess not. Well, I guess.
So, what can you tell me about Guts' strength?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Guts' sword, his trademark sword that he has, weighs 400 pounds, and he can not only lift the damn thing, he can swing it faster than even an ordinary swordsman can with a regular sized sword. So
wow! So basically it's bigger than the Buster sword that Cloud from Final Fantasy VII has then.
Actually, yes. According to my measurements of the sword is 6'6" long and 1 inch wide.
Oh, there is no way I'd be able to lift that sword. Nope.
But the funny thing is, that's not the longest sword in history. The longest sword actually has stood up to 7'4" and only weighed 14 pounds because it's thin. But Gus' sword is not thin at all. Oh no, it's thick as fuck.
That I can't even imagine. I mean, wow.
And with that sword, with one swing, I repeat, one swing, he can cut a normal-sized man clean in half.
I am shocked.
And with the berserker armor, which is actually a magical armor that he wears, increases his strength 2 or 3 times better than his regular strength. In other words, once he puts on that armor, he's 2 to 3 times stronger.
Oh snap! Wow.
Well, so yeah. Well, I guess we should move on. Could you tell me how fast Link is? Like, what is his speed?
It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad though. There's not a lot of speed here. I mean, if you regular run, like Link, he just rather jogs. But if you roll, Link, he goes at a very fast speed, allowing you to do very good speed runs. So, I mean, I would say, I mean, I don't know how fast his roll would be, but I would at least assume he would probably, if he were to roll constantly, he'll probably go at least 60 miles an hour or faster. Otherwise, he also goes faster, like, okay, so like, later on, Link, he gets the spinner in one of the dungeons. And if he uses that on one of the lines from the walls, he goes faster. But if he uses the spinner when he's not on one of the lines from the walls, well, he's slow as a snail.
So without a groove in the ground, he can't move very fast.
Well, I mean, unless he rolls, then yeah, he can go a little bit fast, but still, that's still not it.
How fast is he in his wolf form?
Well, considering that he can't turn into a werewolf anymore, can't really say much. But if something were to happen to him, where he ends up getting turned to a werewolf for some reason, I would say he's a lot faster than he is from his human form. Because when Wolf Link dashes, he goes so fast that even Midna has to hold on really tight because he's so fast. He probably runs at 100 miles per hour.
And is Midna
or more.
Is Midna like a fairy creature?
No, Midna, she's more of a... I mean, she's more like of a... Okay, well, see, Midna, she has two forms. Sorry for spoilers, but two forms. Her first form was when you first meet her, in which she's kind of like a little... She's like she's like a midget of some kind, but she's not really human, because she has long hair. If you hold the B button to attack enemies better as Werewolf Link. But in the ending, which again spoilers, in the end of the game, after Link defeats Ganondorf, he sees Midna and he runs to her, but Midna is in her human form.
Okay, but I think the better question should have been, can Midna fly?
No, well, I mean, technically she can, because after you escape from the prison, well, Wolf Link ends up warping, and then Midna, in her her first form, she flies kind of, because she goes into the air and flying with Wolf Link.
Okay, so you said she's really small, but she has ridiculously long hair. I think the type of creature she...
Well, okay, it's not really as long as compared to, like, Rapunzel, but her hair is quite long. Not to mention the fact that her hair can turn into a giant hand. And also, not only can her hair turn into a giant hand, she can also, which I know I kind of forgot to say this, she rarely turns into this form, but she turns into this giant spider, and then she attacks the enemy. She attacks with her giant hand, and she's quite violent in her spider form.
At first
I would assume it's a spider form anyway.
Well, at first I thought I was going to say she was an imp, but now I feel like she's more like a Nintendo's version of Bayonetta.
Well, oh yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, the first form, yeah, she is an imp. Her second form, well, is a human form that you don't see until in the end of the game. And the third form, you see the third form twice. No, more like 3 times. Because the first time she does that is on Zan, who is another villain from but you don't really see Zant that much in the story. The second time she uses it is when she breaks the barrier from Zelda's castle because to get to Ganon because Ganon captured Zelda.
Right. I think we get it now.
And then the third time.
No. I mean, we don't need to go into major detail now. I was just asking how fast she was, so I could compare Wolf Link to her. Because if she could fly, and anyone knows if you can fly either with wings or without, you essentially almost have near no limits with speed. But if you can run faster than someone can fly, then you're really fast.
Well, technically, she's fast in her spider form, because she the way how she crawls, well that's what I would say, crawls. She goes pretty fast.
Well, yeah, wouldn't you if you had 8 legs?
Well, yeah, obviously.
Right then, I think I'll quickly move on to Guts. Well, in his regular form without his berserker armor, he's actually faster than the human eye can track. And the funny thing is, the human eye can actually see things moving at 9,000 miles per hour. Now, either Gus is just going so fast that no one can see him, or he's just moving so fast that no one can turn their head fast enough to know he's either going left or right. So yeah.
Well, yeah, that's kind of quite fast.
So there's 2 ways we can know his speed. He's either so fast that you literally cannot see him, your own human eye cannot see him move, or he just moves side to side so fast that you can't turn your head or eyes fast enough. In other words, he kind of acts like a mirage or like a blur. You can see his after image, but not the real Guts. But most likely, out of all of it, Gus is moving so fast that you just can't turn your head fast enough. Because if he's so fast that you can literally not see him, he would be too ridiculously fast for that heavy sword that he's carrying, even if he is an anime character. He'd be technically in some ways faster than light.
If that's the case, he may as well be faster than Sonic.
Well, yeah, not really. But anyway, because Gus is technically human, that's very unlikely. More likely is that he can move to somewhere so fast that no normal human can actually turn around to see where he's going, and by the time you do catch up, you're probably dead. And the funny thing is, with the berserker armor, he gets 2 or 3 times faster than that. So basically, as soon as he moves in berserker armor form, there's no point in you turning your head. You're dead. You're already dead.
I'm like so speechless right now.
I mean, seriously, is he a swordsman or a freaking ninja?
As far as I'm concerned, he may as well be both.
A ninja swordsman. Amazing. Anywho, moving on quickly. Could you tell us the techniques Link has in Twilight Princess?
When an enemy is stuck on the ground, jump in the air and stay alert. Knows them instantly, which the move is called the ending blow. Another move Link has is a shield attack. When Link uses this move, it reflects projectiles that enemies throw at him. For example, an enemy fires a bow and arrow, and Link uses the move. The bow and arrow will reflect right back at the enemy. Sorry, computer glitched up. The next move is the back slice. When Link rolls to the left or right, he can hit the enemy from behind. The next move is called a helm splitter. Link will shield bash the enemy and then jump over the enemy while hitting it, which works pretty well on armored foes. The next move is a mortal draw. If Link doesn't have the sword and the shield equipped, he can hit the enemy when the enemy doesn't even notice him. The next move is a jump strike. Link will charge his jump attack and then hit the enemy with a jump strike. This is a great spin. If Link has full hearts, Link will have a better spin attack. It has a slightly longer range and it hits harder.
Alright then. And to your knowledge, does that move actually help Link fly if he was to jump and do that, or is that only Smash Brothers?
Well, yeah. In Smash Brothers, when he uses the spin attack, it helps him recover. But again, that's only in Smash Brothers.
I thought so, because it'd be a bit OP that if you jumped into the spin attack in Twilight Princess, that you could sort of hover for a few seconds. Because seriously, when he does that, he basically turns into a helicopter for 2 seconds.
That's right.
Right,
So what is Guts, techniques?
Well, funny thing is, he doesn't really have many techniques per se, but what he normally does is, whatever weapon he has, he'll just kill anything that he hates in sight. Like, he doesn't care.
Wow.
He doesn't care what weapon he
Pretty
has.
scary.
He will kill anyone that's either evil or just pisses him off.
Wow, that's pretty scary stuff.
But if I was to say, but because he was trained as a soldier and a mercenary, I would say he has soldier, not have some like form of swordsman soldier training. So he would have like typical, like I don't want to say like a knight, but like well, yeah, kind of like a knight. He has like this swordsman skills of like a really strong knight in a way, because he always trained with big swords. He never trained with little ones. So I suppose that's
wow, I'm like speechless right now.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the best part out of them all. Oh my lord. Let me tell you, this one is going to be a doozy. The weapons part. Now then, could you tell us what weapons Link is bringing to the battle?
Well, obviously Link has a sword, but he does get multiple swords in the game, but he mainly uses the Master Sword once he acquires it, because, well, let's face it, the Light Sword you don't really use it for very long, because you only use it for one specific dungeon. But despite that, he also does get multiple weapons as well. Like, yeah, he gets the bow and arrow. With this, he can fire an arrow at the enemy, obviously. He also does get water bombs and bombs. Water bombs are used for underwater, while bombs are used to destroy rocks. He can also attach a bomb to his arrow to make it a bomb arrow. He does get a slingshot at the beginning of the game, but it's weaker than the bow and arrow, obviously.
So it's
and he also does get the Gale Boom. What?
Sorry, I was just gonna ask. So it's more of a. So the slingshot's more of like a distraction weapon.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because that's basically what it is. But anyways, moving on. He also does get the Gale Boomerang. It can attack enemies and blow them away at the same time. The last weapon he gets is the ball chain, like I said earlier. Not only can it, but if the iron ball hits the enemy, it does a massive amount of damage. Like, really massive.
How many hearts would you say?
Well, I mean, I would assume that. I would probably assume it would take like 5 or 10 hearts.
Judas Priest, and that's almost more. That's almost half the maximum amount of hearts you can get in Ocarina of Time. So basically,
I know it's actually quite impressive.
So basically, if Twilight Princess Link met Ocarina of Time Link and threw that giant iron ball at him, he would lose half of his fucking maximum hearts.
Yeah, that's true. Unless Ocarina of Time Link uses a fairy, but even that doesn't matter because he could defeat him. He could do the same thing again.
Isn't a fairy only used to revive revive him if he dies?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But even then, like I said, even if Ocarina of Time Link had a fairy, well, guess what? All Twilight Princess Link has to do is to use the Iron Ball again, and then boom, Ocarina of Time Link is dead.
Lol. Well, and here I thought Link was like this happy Peter Pan swordsman. Nope, he can be brutal as well.
Yeah, I thought it was badass when I first saw that weapon.
Seriously, Link went from Peter Pan to fucking Legolas. For all you Lord of the Rings fans out there, you know you like that character. They're both elves as well, and they're both blonde, so it makes sense.
And so, can you tell me what Guts uses for weapons?
Well, yes I can. Guts has miniature throwing knives, like, I don't know how I would explain them. They're not like kitchen knives, let's just say that. They're more like, kind of like the throwing knife a ninja would throw almost, but less Japanese and more English, if you catch my drift. Kind of like the same knives a circus thrower would use. He also has a very small dagger. He also has very miniature bombs, which he has put spikes in so he can stick them to his foes. Yep, he has miniature spike bombs that he can literally implant into anyone he wants and blow him the fuck up.
Oh, that's pretty brutal, if you ask me.
He has a mechanical hand, which has a crossbow on the inside of it, which he can shoot people with, and not only that, when the hand part of the mechanical hand / arm flops down like dishinges, he has a miniature cannon in there which can blow off a demon's face clean.
Oh shit. Yeah, wait till we get to the armor category though. That's gonna be interesting.
Not only that, the mechanical arm also has a flame gun. Yeah, he basically invented a flamethrower. And
wow, that's awesome stuff.
And also, which is actually pretty clever, he has put magnets inside the mechanical hand so he can have a better grip on his sword. So yeah, if you're trying...
That's understandable.
So if you try to knock out Gus's sword while he's wielding it in his metal hand, yeah, Good fucking luck. It's held by magnets.
Wow. No wonder why he can hold that giant ass sword.
But not only that, here is the piece de resistance. This sword, his main sword, not only is 6'6" tall, one inch wide, or maybe 1 foot wide, more likely the 1 foot, made of a giant heap of metal, is called the Dragon Slayer Sword. Literally a sword made to kill dragons. And because Gus has killed so many demons, when it's bathed in so much demonic blood, it exists on the spiritual realm. That's right. So if he kills a human in the real world, he could almost accidentally kill a ghost in the other world.
Interesting stuff.
Yep. So literally in the demon world, there's a random sword swinging and moving about, killing ghosts and demons, and they don't even know who the fuck's doing it. Oh wait, they probably do, because everyone knows who wields the Dragon Slayer sword, Guts. So yeah. A little bit of backstory even on the bloody sword. Anywho, now we move on to the final category. Can you tell me what armor Link wears?
Well, besides the green tunic, obviously, Link gets the Zora armor. With this, he can swim underwater with no limits, meaning that he will not drown. And if he continues wearing it, meaning that if he continues wearing it when he's not in the water, it will be vulnerable to Fire and Ice attacks. And not only does he get that kind of armor, he also does get the magic armor. When he gets that equipped, it drains 2 rupees per second. When Link gets hit, he loses 12 rupees. So this does not affect heart. So meaning that if Link maxes out his rupee count, which is about 9,999 rupees, that's quite a lot, meaning that he won't die unless he gets hit a lot. I know that's not a lot of armor, but that's just the way it is.
Jesus. That armor may sound cool, but if I had armor that basically took two pounds out of my wallet every minute I wore it, I would seriously consider not having it.
I know same thing with me, but even then, you basically find that at a store.
Huh. Okie dokie then.
So what kind of armor does Guts have?
Well, as I briefly mentioned before, Guts has a special armor and this is cool, when he doesn't put the armor on, he activates the armor, because the armor is also magic, and it attaches itself around Guts. Like, it almost grows out of him. And this armor not only gives him insane strength and speed and insane durability, and here is the gruesome but awesome part. It lets him keep fighting even if all the bones in his body have been shattered and all the blood in his body has been drained. He will not go down. But I will emphasize this.
That is so badass.
I will emphasize this. It does not make him invincible, but it does make him damn near unstoppable. Like, you break his elbow backwards, the armor will just break it back for him. It does not heal his body, so after the armor comes off, I'm sure he's gonna be in a lot of pain. But with the armor being really tough, the likeliness of him having his elbow or knees or almost anything broken is unlikely. But even if it does happen, that armor will basically keep him alive even if he's at near death. Jesus Christ. Talk about having the ultimate bodyguard on you every time.
Wow. I have like no words, honestly.
Oh, and also one thing I forgot to even add on my little list. Even when he doesn't put on the berserker armor, he has like he has metal shin pads and a metal chest plate, and funny thing is, they're black, which hence the name Black Swordsman. All right, well there we go. Those are that's everything about these characters so far, but now we need to do some comparison as we normally do. Now then, back to the top. We need to compare strength. So we need to take the best. We can either take the best feat of strength they can do naturally, or with an added bonus. So let's just compare their maximum strength. So can you tell me what is the biggest feat of strength Link has ever done?
Well, as mentioned from earlier, like the heaviest, thing that he has probably, done was against the boss when he was going against Pyrus. When he grabs the chain and yanks it. Because Pyrus, that's larger and he's like bigger and fatter than compared to the giant Goron that you face earlier into that dungeon. But even then, with that in mind, that's probably only maybe say 200 300 pounds max.
That sounds pretty lightweight for a giant monster.
I know, that's why I'm saying, even then, that's still not saying much.
But if you're able to pull a monster off their balance with nothing but a bloody chain and your own strength, you're pretty strong.
However, though, if Link, if he does this with the iron boots on, he puts on more weight, though.
Well, obviously, if I wore big chunks of armor on me, I'd probably weigh a lot more.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, as an example.
So you think that's the best feat he can do?
Well, there's nothing else I can really say. I mean, cause I can't really say anything about the door thing. Because, well, let's face it, the door thing, yeah, that's not very heavy when he just grabs it from underneath and pulls it upward. And I would say something about, the iron ball, but we're not even to that part yet.
Well,
I mean, unless you want to say that the iron ball probably is up to like 300, 400 pounds max, if I would say. But again, that's probably not saying much either.
It's not super incredible, but it's not bad considering that Link doesn't look. The funny thing is, he doesn't look strong, but he's strong, and that's the thing. He's stronger than he looks.
Oh! I also forgot to mention this. In the strength category, I forgot to mention this. But so later on in the game, Link does this sumo wrestling thing, where he goes against a Goron, one of the Gorons. I mean, sure, that's still not saying much, but I still thought it was worth mentioning, considering that, yeah, Link does sumo wrestling.
Wait. Are you telling me he sumo wrestled a giant, big-bellied, weird creature, and he manages to push them?
That's right.
Holy crap, and how heavy are Gorons?
Maybe say 400, 500 pounds, I would say, especially the Twilight Princess ones of Gorons, because they look pretty muscular as well.
Bloody hell. A swordsman and a sumo wrestler? Link really does.
I know, because when I first saw Link being a sumo wrestler, I was laughing my ass off. I'm like, seriously? Wow, that's cool.
So he's able to not only pull down a giant monster with nothing but a chain, but he's able to sumo wrestle a giant Goron, which is basically, I don't know, the Legend of Zelda version of a 500-pound sumo wrestler in real life. And he's also able to lift up a giant ball, which is half his size, spherical, made of pure iron. That is some insane strength.
Right.
That is some insane strength for a fucking elf.
Elf. Lol.
Well, that's what he is, isn't he?
But yeah, I agree though. But I do agree though. Yes, that is still pretty strong though.
All right then. Well, back to Gus. His sword is 400 pounds. His literal biggest weapon weighs 400 freaking pounds. And the funny thing is, it's not even sharp. It's blunt. But it doesn't matter. Even if it's blunt, it can still cut through an enemy really easily. And if it doesn't, it's gonna hurt a lot if he goes for another swing or tries to pull it out.
Still pretty strong too. Yep, I agree.
And as I said before, he can swing it faster than an ordinary swordsman can with a regular sized sword. So, for example, the average human with the average sized sword, saying being 2 feet, maybe 2.5 feet long, can swing a sword around between 2 and 250 miles per hour. I know what you're thinking. What? That fast of a swing? You'd be surprised. Some people can swing faster than that. And Gus can swing a 400-pound, 6'6" sword faster than that.
If that's the case, he may as well beat the main character of God of War.
You mean Kratos?
Yeah, him. Sorry, I haven't played God of War in a long ass time, so I only played the demo.
And the funny thing is, with the berserker armor, he can do that 2 or 3 times better. So, if he can swing a 400-pound sword faster than a normal human could with a normal sized sword, and two or 3 times better than that, he would be able to swing a sword that weighs, and I quote, if you times 400 by 3, you can swing swing a sword that weighs 1,200 pounds or 1.2 tons.
That's massive, right? Wow, massive stuff.
And the average car weighs about between 2 and 3 tons. He can literally lift a section of a car.
Oh shit.
And trust me, there's more metal in a car than a fucking sword.
Well, yeah, obviously, because cars are, bigger than swords.
True. So that is some insane strength.
Yeah. I know I'm not talking about Ocarina or Wind Waker Link, but if I were to be talking one of them links, yeah, they can lift a giant ass rock. But again, I'm not talking about those links.
Sad. Okay, so now we decide who's stronger. So we got a guy who can swing a 400-pound sword in his regular form fairly easily without any effort, and then he can do that 2 to 3 times better with his magical armor, against a guy who can sumo wrestle a giant Goron, lift a giant iron ball, which the weight of it probably would be hard to even calculate, and pull down a 300 or 400-pound monster with nothing but a fucking chain.
So maybe this one. So maybe in terms of strength, maybe it's a draw.
Yo, fuck it. I think unless there's a way to calculate how strong they swing, or how strong they would be if they were to push each other or try to lift each other. Unless there's a way to do that very quickly, there's probably no other way to say. But yeah, basically, they're both even. Holy crap!
That's right.
Okay, let's quickly move along.
That's right. It's so like we go on to speed. Again, Link doesn't really have a lot of speed, as mentioned. Like when Link rolls, he goes faster than his normal speed. But again, that's probably maybe 70 miles an hour or so. And if Link goes on a spinner against the walled lines, he goes faster as well. I mean, and let's just pretend that Midna were to be with Link, but that'd be unfair. But if Midna were to be with Link, in her spider form, yeah, she'd be unstoppable. But again, it wouldn't be fair if Midna were to be with Link.
Yeah, as much as I would love to do it, technically no side help is allowed in my show.
That's correct, and that's why I said that. That's why I said, Midna would not be invited. So sorry, Midna, you can't be in there.
Okay then, but Gus in regular form can move faster than a person could normally track things. In other words, as soon as you try and turn your head to the side, Gus will already be behind you, probably with his sword in your back.
Yeah, that would probably happen in less than a second or 2 seconds.
I wouldn't be surprised. And with the berserker armor, he can go 2 or 3 times faster than that. So if he wanted to, he could spin around you several times without you seeing him, and after he stops spinning, your entire top half will just randomly come off your bottom half.
That's right. So yep, sadly, okay, not really sadly, but Guts wins the speed round.
Well, as much as I would want to help you with Link, I'm sorry to say I think Gus is faster anyway.
That's right, because again, like you said, no side characters allowed in the show. Because if we were to pretend that Epona were to be with Link, because Guts could kill the horse anyway, and finish off Link anyway, so even then it wouldn't matter.
Yep. Alright, quickly. Techniques. Well, this is kind of slightly unfair because Link has noticeable and named techniques while Gus doesn't really have any.
So Link kind of wins this round. I mean, the techniques round.
I would say so, but screw it. Yeah, if you have no nameable techniques against someone who has named their techniques and knows them off by heart, I suppose the one who knows them would win.
So yep. So basically, it's 2 out of 2 right now.
I thought it was. I would say more like 1.5 to 1. Wait, hold on. 0.5 because they both won in strength. Link lost in speed, so Gus has 1.5. So yes, 1.5 each.
So now we go on to weapons. Well, yeah.
Oh boy, this is where the big part comes in.
Right.
So Gus has miniature bombs that he has, which has spikes attached to it. So while Link has to throw them and hope they blow up, Gus can throw it, and if it lands on even the tip of Link's boot, it'll be stuck there. Cause those aren't wooden spikes; those are metal spikes. Because back in the age of the
unless Link attaches a bomb onto his arrow and fires it, then it'll be a bomb arrow. But yeah, he would have to hope that it would hit Guts. I mean, the only other way is if Link uses his bow and arrow and the arrow hits the miniature spike bomb things.
That could be a way he can counter that.
That's true. I'm just saying.
Alright then. Gus also has throwing knives, so if Link was to throw a regular bomb, Gus could throw a knife right at Link's bomb and blow it up. Which has been done before, actually.
And I also think that if Link were to use a Gale Boomerang, because it attacks enemies and blows them away, it still wouldn't matter because Gus can still counter that as well.
Yep, and even if Link was to use his bow and arrow, Gus has a crossbow mounted on his metal arm. And actually, as sad as it is, a crossbow fires faster than a normal person can with a regular bow. And it's not.
So yeah.
And it's even rapid fire. So
basically,
they both almost have a counter for everything they have. So I think more than and Gus also has a miniature dagger, which I suppose he uses for close range stabbing. So if he was to run towards you and get past anything you would use to stop him from getting close to you, he could probably stab you in the gut if he wanted to.
And so basically, yeah.
Gus hits you in the gut. Lol.
So yeah, no puns.
Okay, and then Gus has a flamethrower. It's
official. It's official. Yep. Guts would win regardless of weapons.
Wow, we didn't even go into comparing their swords.
Well, I mean, if you were to compare the Master Sword versus the sword that Guts uses, doesn't matter because remember, like you said, Guts, he can swing it really fast, and it's a giant ass sword. But if he's in his berserk form, he does it faster than he usually does. So regardless, doesn't matter. Guts would still win the weapon part anyway.
Okay then, so another point to Gus. So is that 2.5 each?
But I thought that would mean that Guts is winning right now because
Hold on, I'm trying to remember. They both win in strength, which is a half a point. Gus is faster, so that's 1.5. Link had more techniques, that's another 0.5. Gus wins in weapons, so that's 2. So that's 2.5 for him. Okay, yeah. So Gus is in the lead. Can Link make it a tie in this one? Armor. Who has the better armor?
I doubt it.
Alright.
Like I said, I doubt it. The reason why I said I doubt it is because, well, for one thing, the armor is, the Zora armor, which he can swim without any limits, and if he continues wearing it and out of water, it will be vulnerable to fire and ice attacks. If he uses the magic armor, rupees per second. When Link gets hit, he loses 12 rupees and it doesn't affect any hearts. But if Link were to maximize, 9,999 rupees, I don't even know if it would even be good of a match anyways.
And Gus's armor makes him literally 2 or 3 times better than he was in his base form. So even if Link was to max out his rupees, and even though it doesn't affect his hearts, what do you reckon would happen if Link uses magic armor against Gus's berserker armor?
I still don't know about that. Like,
well, let's just process this. We got a guy who's can't take damage if he has maximum rupees, but if he runs out, his armor is gonna be useless and he could die. And we got a guy whose armor will keep him alive until nearly the brink of death.
And that's why I said, regardless, Guts would still win, because that's why I said, even if Link were to maximize his rupees, still doesn't matter.
So,
I mean, that's just only so no.
So, are we in agreement Gus wins in armor?
That's correct.
So, with the score 3.5 to 1.5, ladies and gentlemen, the winner is Gus.
Well, which is kind of obvious because he's an anime character. We all know how anime characters are OP.
Yeah, true, but don't feel bad. Link did pretty good for himself. Being able to match the strength.
And don't worry, I don't worry. I don't feel bad. I really don't feel bad. But I'm just saying, I kind of knew Gus was gonna win. Because, we all know how anime characters are OP, so...
But I was surprised that Link could match the strength of Gus, because he is ridiculously strong. But then again, if you were trained by literally the last Link from literally almost the last game made, literally having all the knowledge of a past Link with you, that would give you some serious advantage.
That's true.
So I would normally go into like a scenario of what would happen, but I think basically Link would just try and prevent Guts from attacking him, but he'd be just delaying the inevitable.
But hey, that was still a great little quote-unquote battle. I mean, at least, we still said the differences, and that's what I kind of like about these kind of who would win things.
Yep. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the winner is Gus, and that's the end of this edition of Who Would Win. I thank you so much for joining me today, Mr. Dominic Anderson.
And no problem. I mean, especially when you know how well. I am not a Nintendo fanboy, but I do like Nintendo, and I like a lot of Nintendo's franchises, but not all of them.
Alright then. Well, anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to Jordan Hedgehog/Nature today. Also, make sure you subscribe to Mr. Dominic Anderson. I will either leave a link down below to his channel, or I will leave a link right in the video so you can click on his channel or automatically subscribe to him right there and then. And Mr. Dominic Anderson, you might see Mr. Dominic Anderson soon in another video of who would win. Would you like to say goodbye to the audience?
Well, before I say goodbye, on August 14th or so, Sonic Mania is going to come out, and I'm going to do a blind Let's Play on that. So be sure to check that out. Ooh. But anyways, yeah, see you guys later.
Well, that was certainly going to be interesting to watch. I know I might be interested in watching it. Who knows, I might even do a reaction video to it. But anyway, guys, that's all from us. Stay awesome, and as always, our Dragon Fest. Hiya!